Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you how to make a grapevine pumpkin, and it's really easy to spot the grapevines even in the fall because they're starting to turn yellow. So you can see them here kind of draped over bushes and trees, and they're really invasive, so it's a great thing to do to clean them out and to give some bushes some life. And they tend to grow really rapidly. You can even see that they're growing down onto the ground. So find some that you can access. Even if you're on a nature walk, you can just grab some clippers, and then we're going to cut some of these branches and start making our pumpkin. So here's a nice branch right here. You can see it draping out. It kind of arches a little bit. You can see them draping out, and you just kind of follow it back and clip, I'd say about 8 feet. Okay, we have a nice one here. You can see it goes all the way along, all the way back here. So I'm going to clip it kind of where it starts. I've got 2 nice ones here. So the only thing you got to do is clip it away from the tree. Just clip off some of those tendrils that kind of stick it to the tree. And then you've got a couple of nice long pieces. And we're freeing a tree at the same time. So you've got 2 nice branches here. And I'm going to just cut off all of the leaves. So your clippers are really helpful. If you want to leave some of the tendrils on, make sure they're smaller tendrils, not the big long ones, but something that's a little bit smaller, like these here. And you can leave those on because they look nice with the pumpkin. But I'm just going to go through and I'm going to trim it off. Fast forward this part. Okay, now I've got a nice long piece. Like I said, it's about 8 feet long. But all you're going to do is take the end and just fold it around. Like, they might crack, but they're not going to break because they're fresh. So you're going to make a circle, and you're just going to tie that last little piece over and then under. So it's just going to kind of form the beginning of a knot. Okay? So don't worry that it's not perfectly round, because once we start wrapping, it's going to get nice and round. And you're just going to kind of bend it and shove it through. Like I said, it might start cracking. That's okay. Just pull it right through. And then same thing. Wrap it around and then pull it through. Wrap it around and pull it through. And just keep doing that until you've gotten to the end of your piece. You can see how it's starting to form a circle. And remember this little end that I stuck through? I'm going to wrap it around and stick it through, overlapping that one so it doesn't become untied. So you just keep doing that. Wrap around, feed it through, and to see how it starts. And then you can actually shape it a little bit, but to see how it becomes this nice circle. So once you've finished, stick the last little piece through. This one's a little long, so I'm going to give it a little cut. And once you have this last piece, just bring it around and tuck it in. Doesn't matter where, you can open up and just kind of shove it in. So now you've got a complete circle. Now, the pumpkin is going to be made up of about 20 of these. So when you do your next one, try and make sure it's about the same size. So I'm going to grab another piece and I'm going to show you how to just measure to make sure it's the same size. This I'd say is about 6 inches wide. So when you start your next one, same thing, just kind of make a circle, go around. And in order to get the same size, I just compare it. I go, okay, that's about the same. And then I start tucking this one under, and then I'll do the same thing. And then I'm going to show you how to put them together to form a pumpkin. Okay, when you're out making your circles, also get one long piece because you're going to need this to make the stalk, you know, the stalk that comes at the top of the pumpkin. So just trim off all of the leaves again and just cut segments that are about, I don't know, 8 inches. We can trim it down after, but just chop a whole bunch because we're going to bind these together with some good gauge wire. Just make sure they're about the same length. And I would say probably about 8 to 10 would be a good amount. And if you have some of the little tendrils that are on the branches, just grab those as well. So you're going to push all those together. And then what we're going to do is just bind it with some gauge wire. I've already kind of done a sample here, but you just bind it with some gauge wire. Lower down on the stalk because we're going to stick it in the top of the pumpkin. So tie it really, really tightly with some wire. If you just have something like a glue gun, you can glue them all together. But when we have these stalks, you know how when you grab a pumpkin, the top of it's kind of on an angle, the stalk part? So you can trim, I won't do it on this one, but I'll do it on the ones I just did. You can trim them so that it has that angled look. So just upwards with your clippers, and then it'll have that kind of nice angled look. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to add it into the top of the pumpkin for our stalk. Can you believe it? It's the middle of October and it's still gorgeous out. So now that you've gotten approximately 20 of your circles, all you're going to do is lay them all together kind of on top of each other. So you're going to have kind of like an arching of all of them. And then take your gauge wire and simply start wrapping through all of them. So you wrap it through and then just keep tightening it around the center stalk that you're holding in your hand. So I have wrapped this one all the way through already. And then what I did is I also added some floral tape to hide the gauged wire. But now that you have all of your pieces attached together, you can start separating them out. Now this is what I like about this type of pumpkin, is that if you're going to put it against a wall, you can leave this back part flat. So you can wrap it around, even on your porch. If you have a column, sometimes the pumpkins sit out on the porch and they take up the whole porch. You can actually wrap this around the column at the back. So as tight as you want it, or as wide as you want it, you can just sit it around whatever item. Even in the house, if you're putting it on the floor, by having this straight flat back part, let's maybe do it that way, having this straight back, you can put it right up against the wall so it doesn't take up a whole bunch of space. Okay, so now that we have our pumpkin frame, the next thing we're going to do is just remember that bunch of sticks that we had. So all you're going to do is just pop it straight into the center. And so you have your pumpkin shape and your stalk. You can make it a little shorter if you want, but that's basically it. So you're just tying all those circles together, sticking a little stalk in the top. Of course, you can spread them out to get the complete pumpkin shape. And if you want it a little thicker, you can add more circles, but I kind of like this rustic look. Don't forget, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Natural Crafts and Recipes, where I make new crafts out of things from nature every season. So you'll have lots of things that you can do throughout the year. And click on either of these video windows because I can show you how to make wonderful grapevine wreaths and stunning grapevine orbs.